Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Dragonheir video. I'd like to thank Dragonheir for sponsoring the videos on this channel. What a great game. You can download now actually using the link in my pinned comment. You can also download using the QR code as you see fit. So Dragonheir, let's go through 10 tips that you probably don't know, which I didn't know up until maybe a few days ago while I've been talking to some of the guys that play this game all the time. These tips, I'd say, are quite unique for this game. You know, I've played a bunch of games in this genre, and this game behaves differently. And I guess the reason why it's so different is because this is a seasonal game. Yeah, so I'm currently in season 2. If you're starting out, you'll start in season 1, progress to season 2, and it follows on. So the new servers follow that kind of like seasonal progression. And because of that, there's times in seasons where you should prioritize to, character development, to gear farming, and then there's times in the season where you should just like start to progress through the game and try and get as much out of your teams as you can. Anyway, let's kick off. The first thing I want to talk about here is actually your alliance. You should definitely join an alliance as soon as you can. Yeah, being within an alliance which is active is super, super important. One of the main reasons for that is basically you get a bunch of rewards daily. So taking down the Vortex boss on a daily basis gets you your Psyche Core and your Worm Marrow, which you can basically trade in for shards or for energy or whatever you want to do. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, this is on a daily basis. We also have the Alliance Jewels, so the Clan v Clan stuff, where again, you get a bunch of rewards on a weekly basis. You can actually get to the point where you're getting legendary scrolls through these events as you're progressing, as you've got a kind of like higher up alliance. So definitely worth getting involved in those super early in the game. Second one here is about Worm Arrow. So in most games, you'd be saying, turn this into stamina. And I'd say in this game, it's way less relevant. So you have a certain amount of stamina you get per day. It does refill like in other games of this type of genre. Thing is, you can only cap a certain amount of account level as you're playing. So the more you play, obviously you get to a point where you cap your level. And then you basically want to use your stamina to either farm some gear or get some character levels. But honestly, I don't feel like you need to turn Worm Arrow into stamina as well. I think you get enough because you actually do a lot of kind of like a sideline questing and stuff, which doesn't use stamina. So a lot of your gameplay is actually not using stamina. If you were going to do it, I'd say you buy it once per day and that's it. Then you don't do it. I'd say you save your Worm Arrow for either legendary scrolls or for summons. And let's talk about summons, because summons is slightly unique in this game as well. And I literally found this out today, like just now. I've been saving my purple dice for events. So I know we've got the event coming up with the new D&D collaboration. So I was like, save my purple dice. And I've saved a couple, not many actually, of the big boy dice as well. I've been using those on banners. But the purple dice actually never get used in events so far. Unless they change it, they never get used in events. So actually, pull these as and when. Literally pull these as and when. I've got 100 that I'm going to pull because out of the purple dice, you can get yourself those kind of like filler epics. And honestly, rares. We'll talk about rares in a minute, but rares can be really impactful in this game. So don't hold on to these. Do hold on to the golden ones because there's a bunch of banners. And this is the other point I wanted to talk about on summons is only summon the golden ones on a banner that makes some sense. Certainly when you get into month 3, we're getting these epic hero option boxes. So on the 6th summon, you get to choose an epic that you want, which is so crazy. Like I got Adolphus here, basically made my burn team insane. It went from being okay to insane. But you'll be able to pick up epics that you want, like gaps in your roster, if you pull on the right banners, pull in 6 on these. Also worth saying with mercy system in this game, once a banner finishes, your mercy gets reset. So again, you're kind of wanting to save your dice for events that you think are really going to impact your account. Champions that will really impact. So it's quite hard to get legendaries in the game. But when you do get them, you kind of want to be able to pick out the ones which are going to be a high priority for you. So yeah, I've probably ticked off about 3 of my tips in one there, but it's definitely around the summons. Don't just freely summon with the Heliite dice. These are ones that should be kind of like kept for some of the really big events or for when you start to get these kind of like different chest banners and you really need the epic from that chest. So picked up a few. What's my next one on my list? I'm reading my list as I'm going. Yeah. this is a very different system in this game. So you're able to gear out your champions relatively fast. So you want to get yourself some good gear farming teams, get yourself some gear ready, but don't over farm gear. In this game, it's really easy to build team comps where you just move gear from one hero to another. In fact, let me see if I could show you quickly. There's a really cool system. You can basically go into your presets. So you can build presets. So I've got like Squad 1, which is my Frost and Radiance team. I've got Squad 2, which is my Burn team. Yeah, basically each of these, you can edit the equipment plan and they could all be wearing the same stuff. Like my Burn team could be wearing the same gear as my other team. When I go into the content where I want the other team, it's just going to flip all of the gear and artifacts onto that team. So once you've got yourself, I'd say, a few good sets in terms of damage, support, tank, you can actually then utilize those sets really well across your account. And you're better off pushing content than just like endlessly going into gear dungeons. Let's talk about champions as well. So you don't really want to needlessly level. Okay, so yeah, you want to get your champs probably to level 90 as a base, but there's a bunch of content where level 90 for some of your team will just be enough. It gets much harder to go from 90 to 95, 95 to 99, and then 99 to 100. So I guess, yeah, look, progress your account, do what you think is right for your teams, but don't just kind of think to yourself, I have to get to level 100 to push content. Level 90 is probably going to be a good base for a lot of your heroes. And if not, then 95 is probably going to be enough for a bunch of the content that you're going to do. Next thing I'm going to say is, like, there's a bunch of rares in this game which are really good, and epics, honestly, but rares especially. Like, I've got Beaks here who really empowers my Burn team. I'm going to do a separate video on the top rare per elemental affinity. Yeah, so we're going to just call out one rare per elemental affinity as a separate video. But, and I guess watch that video for some guidance. But there are a ton of rares that either do a lot of damage. I was using Usher a lot in season 1. There's a ton of rares that will just kind of like slot into your teams and make up the elemental team. And focusing more on like a 5-man elemental team will help you as you progress through the game, more so than just build every legendary you've got and throw them together. So let's talk seasons, because seasons is actually really important in this game. You can see when you go into your Clepsydra Trail, what a word to throw at people here. Clepsydra Trail, and you can see how far through the season you are. So if you're new to the game, you'll be on season 1 right at the start. They last for 3 months at a time. So each server has got its own kind of like seasonal pattern. If you do a certain amount of content in season 1, then come back to the game, you will come back in season 2, providing you kind of select to go in. So yeah, I'm currently on the 4 of Increscent here, season 2. Now, there's different reset rules. So some things you're going to get everything back. Some things you're going to have fully reset. For example, heroes will be reset to level 0 at the beginning of each season. Any scrolls you put into those heroes will still remain. So you don't lose stuff. It's just everyone starts off this kind of like fresh look, level 1 seasons. All your artifacts will remain, but they will be level 0. You will get yourself, or any of your kind of like summoning dice will still be there. Well, it says here actually, essence of creation obtained through Heliot dice summoning will be retained at a certain percentage, which is this kind of like material here. But any of the dice that you've kept will carry over. Your Psyche Core gets reset. Yeah, so that's basically the equivalent of, I guess, a Great Hall, maybe? Something like that, if you're someone who's come over from Raid. Yeah, so you can see all of the different things here, but ultimately, season resets, it's an interesting concept. I don't hate it. It's actually kind of fun. So you get to be on the same level as everyone else again at the start of the next season, with obviously a whole bunch of new content, new bosses, all that type of stuff. Your gear is removed. Yeah, so and that's why we don't farm gear like a madman all season long, because once you've got some good sets, you might as well go and enjoy the content that's in the game. Any world exploration will stay, but you'll need to go there again and re-explore the areas in the new season. So you can do your fast traveling on your map, but it will kind of like kick in from where you left off. Like you can go back and re-explore and get some stuff back again. In fact, you can get a ton of worm arrow from going back to areas that you already did and doing some kind of like quest lines and stuff from that. So I guess it's worth just saying, like, the end of season rewards can be really good. So the final month of play is really where you get those bonuses to carry you forward into the next season. And the last one I'm going to call out here, it's kind of already been touched on already, but if you're missing like key epics, don't panic too much, because when you get into month 3, you do start to get the ability to get these epic chests and kind of like almost handpick the epics that you want in the game. So I guess just to finish this off, let's throw my 100 purple dice in the mix. I didn't know you could just summon these willy-nilly. Let's see if we pull up any good epics. I've got good burn epics, good frost epics, but I could do with a few more, honestly. See, I'm getting some rewards here which help me. If they're dupes, they go towards artifacts purchasing. But yeah, I've got most of the good rares already. I'm going to be working on my other team. Here we go. We've got an epic in. Why can't I click on this dude? I want to see who it is. We'll check him out in a minute. But yeah, I've got a burn squad who's looking solid. I've got my Radiance and Frost team looking good, but I could do with an Ice Blast hero just to kind of support that. We've got more, 70 more. Another epic in here. It's a caster. I wish I could click on them to know what their names are. I know that I've been talking to Never, who's got his own YouTube channel, and he's talking about a few epics that I really want. Bledin, Darius, Catherine, Frurbath, Lola, and Vikuk. I don't know if this is one of them or not. So we'll check out the ones I've got once I've done my pulls. I'm not clued up enough on the game yet to know all of the heroes by sight. So we'll do my pulls and then we'll go and check out the epics that came in. So Never's got his own channel. I will link it down below, actually. You should check out his Dragonheir channel, because he's in a lot of the top rated kind of like stuff in the game. There's this whole kind of like achievement section. Never's up there, like top 10 in it all over the place. He's very, very knowledgeable of the game. He's the person who told me about the purple dice. He was like, dude, just get involved, pull the dice. See if you can get yourself some epics that will help you out. I'm like, right, dude, thank you. Rare. We've got 35 more. Then we go and check out the ones we actually picked up. Another epic in here. It's a burn dude. I don't know his name. 25 more. Really cool visuals in this game, though. Like, I think they've actually done a great job of bringing a game in which is completely different, honestly, from the genre, and still kind of got that high quality visual, and high quality performance. Really, really solid, actually. Right, 2 more. Maybe we'll squeeze one more epic in this one, shall we? One more epic. It's like a 3% chance to get an epic. So pulling a third would be... Did I get 3 already? Maybe I got 3 already, actually. Be about right. Let's check out the heroes. Who's my newbies? Vera's not on the list. A support burn champ. Gains increased resistance based on the total number of debuffs on all enemies on the battlefield. I do stack up pretty crazy amount of burns, actually, with my team. Deals fire damage to the enemy if the enemy does not have any buff. Got accuracy penalty as well. Kind of massive ult path. Okay. Olgun, also not on the list. This is aura here. Accuracy in all battles. Cold damage to nearby enemies with a 100% chance of inflicted frost. Cold damage. If the target's got frost, 100% chance of inflicting frozen for 5 seconds. That sounds actually kind of cool. And then the ult deals cold damage to enemies within range and gives attack up. Okay. The other one I got was a Stella. Also not on my list. So I didn't pick up any of the ones which were kind of like my targets, but still. Marks the ally with the lowest HP at the start of the combat, increasing their received shield and healing. Got support here. Block debuffs and defense up for the team. That's actually really cool. And then the ult is a whole grid-wide ult. Cast a spell for 6 seconds, grants healing to the hero and the ally with the lowest current HP every 0.2 seconds. Prioritizes healing to an ally without full HP. Guess it just depends how strong that healing is. But, okay. Well, there you go. Look, hopefully that helps you out. Hopefully there's some tips in there which you didn't know. If you've got more, comment down below. Let people know some other tips for the game. I'd like to thank Dragonheir again for sponsoring this video. And don't forget, you can download now using my link in the pinned comment or using the QR code. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.